Hello, my name is Damian McCullough, and you're very welcome to Destination Newry's News Bite here on a Monday evening. The coronavirus update. 514 people have died in Northern Ireland, while 1,608 have died in the Republic of Ireland. Total deaths in the island of Ireland 2,122. A total of 4,609 people have tested positive for COVID-19 in Northern Ireland, and cases in the Republic diagnosed at 24,698. 118 people have died across the UK in the last 24 hours. The total number of deaths in the UK is 36,793. In Scotland, the death toll is 2,273 according to the Public Health Agency. But we do know that that will increase with the statistics coming in from all the other parts. Wales, 1,274 people have died of the coronavirus according to the Public Health Agency. There are 277 confirmed cases in Newry, Mourne and Down out of a local population of 180,000. In Newry, Mourne and Down, there were 40 coronavirus-related deaths from the 15th of May to the 29th of February. There are 500 confirmed cases in Armagh City, Banbridge and Craigavon out of a local population of 214,000. And again, there's 67 coronavirus-related deaths up to the 15th of May, and that's from the 29th of February. The First and Deputy First Ministers have written an open letter to the people here, thanking them for their personal sacrifices during the COVID-19 crisis. In it, Arlene Foster and Michelle O'Neill say because of the public's actions, Northern Ireland's infection rate has reduced and lives have been saved. They also appeal to the public to keep following the rules and advice. The Executive will revisit indoor family gatherings and no more changes to the lockdown restrictions yet, but they're looking at that, and that's going to be looked at very, very shortly. Other news. This was a good one. Former heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield would fight Mike Tyson again if the old rival asks, he says. Hollywood 57, who retired in 2014, won their two previous bouts in the 1990s, including the famous fight in 1997 when Tyson was disqualified. Both have planned returns for charity, and Hollywood says a 3-round fight was possible if Tyson wants it. If I ask him, it's almost like me being a bully, saying, I want to go against you again. I've already beaten you twice. The GAA. The GAA is expected to give an update regarding possible changes to lockdown restrictions later this week. And a meeting at the COVID-19 advisory group takes place today, while there are further meetings to be held tomorrow as well. The 8th of June, GAA clubs will be able to apply to open walking tracks around their premises, so that's something to look forward to. Well, as we normally go forward, we're still into the community associations, and this evening we're going to be talking to Ballyholland, Newtown, and we're going to be talking to the Armagh Road and the Meadow. So first up is Rosie from Ballyholland, and we're going to be talking to Rosie. Hello, how are you?
Vivian, not so bad.
It's great to have us here, and you have that much to talk about. I'm just going to leave it up to you there, and you can tell us what's happening. So it's over to you,
Will
Rosie.
do indeed. Thank you. First of all, thanks very much for having me back again this week. I just wanted to start off by letting people know exactly the associations that I'm trying to cover within the Ballyholland area, because obviously there's not just the GAA club. So I'm trying to gather information, obviously from our local Ballyholland Harps Club, from Ballyholland Community Centre, and within the Community Centre we also have the Sunshine Club, which is for the elderly, Little Rascals Parent and Toddler Group, the Youth Club, the Foresters, Ballyholland Primary School, the Play School, the Football Club, and the local councillors as well. So the first thing that I would like to mention, I couldn't let this evening go past without mentioning the death of John Murphy from the Shamrocks Club. On behalf of the Ballyholland Club, again, we would like to express our sincere condolences to John's family, his wife Veronica, and his children Niamh and Gavin and Fiona and Carl. John was a big GAA Gael, and I'm sure he will be extremely missed throughout the GAA community in Newry and Mourne. So I'm going to move on now, and I'm going to give a few shout outs just around the community. So first of all, I'd like to say hello to the Carols in Toronto who are watching us this evening, my brother Kevin and his wife Hannah. Next up, I want to wish Geordie McAteer from Ballyholland Road a very, very happy 90th birthday. He was 90 years young last week, so happy birthday, Geordie. My nephew Conor Murphy was 19 last week. Happy birthday, Conor. My cousin Thomas Hanway was 25. Happy birthday, Thomas. And then our last shout out is for Kathleen McKeown. Kathleen McKeown is my sister-in-law's granny, and Kathleen was 93 years young. So that picture, I think, was actually taken today. So a very happy birthday to Kathleen. So I'm just going to move on now. Just with some news. First of all, from the Ballyholland Club, we'd like to thank Kevin Loughlin and Petey Keenan for repainting the entrance to our club and our gates and giving up their own time for that there. So it's really, really appreciated, hopefully in anticipation of the club opening very soon. Just some updates. I've been in contact with some of the councillors around the Ballyholland area. So they've been very informative too. So at the moment, any parents who have children entering P1 in Ballyholland Primary School in September, they will have received a letter from the SELB saying that there will be no school bus for the primary ones. So what the councillors have said is, if you've received this letter, please let them know. They are trying to work on this. It was resolved last year, so hopefully it will be resolved again this year. So if you've received that letter, please get in contact with your local councillor in the Ballyholland area. The next thing I wanted to talk about was, unfortunately, the continuation of illegal dumping around the Ballyholland area. Obviously, being out and about when we're all in lockdown at the minute, you get a chance to see things that are lying about. Now, I know the recycling centre has opened again. There are restrictions in place. It's only 6 bags of rubbish per household and no bulky items. But unfortunately, I think people are arriving up at the dump, being refused entry, and then deciding to leave some items lying about the countryside. And we're just asking, please try and not do this. The recycling centres will be up and running. I've been assured by the councillors as soon as it is possible for them to get rid of these bulky items. The opening times of the recycling centre are Monday to Thursday, 10 to 4. You can check on their website as well if there are any more updates. Next update is just on our own club. The grounds are still closed and all the gates are locked. We're just asking people to please adhere to these regulations because we have to keep the grounds closed until the GAA give us a bit more of an update. So I've had a few people contacting me just to let you know, no, you can't go onto the grounds at the minute, even if it's just for a walk. If you could just please adhere to this. Thank you very much. Next thing I'm going to move on to is another bit of fundraising that's been going on in Ballyholland. So we had a fundraiser there a week or two ago. It was organised by Sinead McGarry and her family from Billy's Road in Ballyholland. They had a 12-hour spin-a-thon. There was 3 bikes with 30-minute slots, and all their friends and neighbours and staff from the Canal Court Leisure Complex helped them to fill all them slots. They raised £1,347 and they used this money to buy PPE equipment. They then donated this equipment to Rockfield Nursing Home, Newry Hospice, Daisy Hill Theatre and Clockray Home in Bessbrook. So that was absolutely brilliant. And Sinead just wanted to thank John McParland and the Canal Court Hotel for their donation of the bikes. Ballyholland Shop, as you all know, is located in the heart of Ballyholland, owned by the McQuillan family. They are doing free home deliveries to anyone that isn't able to get out of the house or feels like they don't want to be out at the minute with all that's going on, or the elderly or the vulnerable. As you can see, their opening times are on the screen. All you have to do is ring the shop and they will deliver to your door free of charge. The last wee bit of fundraising news that I have is there was a local family from Ballyholland kindly contacted me, and what they done was they bought and paid for 3 £60 Easter food packages for families that would be in need of it. And thankfully, these were actually claimed on behalf of families by other people who knew that they mightn't want to get it, but that they knew they needed it. So we would just like to thank that family who paid for all those Easter meals. And I was contacted by everybody to say that it was extremely well received by the families that were very, very much in need of it. So thanks again. The family wanted to remain anonymous, but thank you very much. The only other bit of news I have is from Little Rascals Parent and Toddler Group. They wanted to thank Groundworks Northern Ireland, who donated grow boxes to every family within the group free of charge to help them obviously grow some vegetables, save them going to the shops for it. And the only other piece of news I have then is around Ballyholland School. Ballyholland School would have been celebrating 100 years this year, and they were able to start some celebrations earlier on in the year where they had a balloon launch, and all the pupils launched 100 balloons, and I do believe there was 2 of them actually found with their messages in Wales a couple of months ago, but unfortunately the celebrations for this have been cut short. So I just wanted to give a bit of a shout out and say that obviously we're very proud to have a school in our area, and it's just a shame they're not going to get to celebrate their 100 years properly, but no doubt they'll maybe do something towards the end of the year. So well done to the school on their 100 years. And there's only one other update I have, and it's actually from one of our local councillors. He'd actually just sent it through to me. It was just around the council. So he wanted just to let everybody know that the council are working their way through planning permission applications to ensure that building industry is kept in supply of future work when full work returns. The first planning meeting is taking place on the 5th of June, just for anybody who would like to attend that. It's a public meeting, and also about the green links and pedestrian pilot proposal in Newry at the minute. Traders feel that there is going to be a loss of parking spaces, but just to let everybody know that this is only a 3-week experimental project for the pedestrianisation of some of the streets in Newry. So at the minute, it's just a trial, and that was just an update from one of our local councillors, Declan McAteer. So, folks, that is all from me in Ballyholland this week. Thank you very much for listening, and keep your updates coming to the Facebook page, and I will see you again next Monday. Stay safe.
Rosie, thanks a million. A great roundup of what's happening up around Ballyholland and all that. So thanks a million. And now I think we're going to go to Helena from the Newry, down into Newry, Armagh Road and Meadow. Hopefully we'll get it there. We have a little bit of problems trying to get the internet connection there. Whatever was happening down around that part of the town, the internet was slow. And Helena, well, we've got her here. So Helena, I hope you can hear me. Well, she's looking here. We're hoping you can hear me, Helena. Yes.
Yes, I can.
Well, listen, we'll not hold you back. We don't want
am I
that
sounding okay?
You're sounding brilliant. And tell me this now. We don't want to be sort of putting the muzzle on the link here. So it's up to you how to get on this.
Hello.
Go ahead, Helena, you're live.
Hello.
Go ahead, Helena, you're live.
Go ahead. Helena, maybe you can't hear us. Can you hear me, Helena? I can hear you. Can you hear me, Helena? No.
I can hear you now. Yeah, we were just buffering a minute.
Right, okay. When I say go, Helena, you're good to go. You just keep talking and don't worry about me. I'll leave the screen and it's up to you. This is why I love live TV. It happens as it's going along. So it's up to you. Away you go.
Okay. So first of all, we're hello from the Meadow and Armagh Road. And due to the internet connection being a bit dodgy, I'll sort of rattle through all that I can. So we're on week 8-9 of our community food bank food deliveries, and we were out this week with our volunteers again. Last week I forgot to say thank you to Pamela Marin, who's been one of our volunteers as well. So sorry I didn't mention you last week with the rest of the gang. And what we want to do is to thanks for St Bridget's Conference as St Vincent de Paul for the continued support, supplying food for our food bank, and also helping out other residents with their different needs as well. And to Phillips Fruit and Vegetables for their donation of eggs, because they've been in the last number of weeks been donating eggs to give out in our food parcels as well. Another thing that I would like to recognise is the recent funding that was allocated to our very own St Patrick's Primary School in the Meadow. It's part of, oh, there's Brendan, there he goes, the leader of the pack. These are some of the guys that help us with our deliveries each week. And this week we did Clanrye Avenue and Clanrye Park and Oria Road. So And this is where we do our bags. Oh yeah, so birthdays. We've got Ashley McDermott, who's 30 years old at the weekend. And we had the lovely Lisa Feenan. It was her birthday as well in Larchmount. We've actually a few birthdays in Larchmount. We also have Billy O'Gorman in Larchmount, who was 78 last week. We've got Seamus McCrink, who is 64 years old today. And we've two young men who are reaching the heady heights of being 21 today, and that's Lewis O'Hare and Ronan Byrne. And we also have an anniversary. We have 13 years married in Slieve Gullion Road. We've got Joanne and Mark Jennings. We've also want to say a happy birthday to our treasurer, Noreen. Her daughter, Rushing, who lives in Kennedy Park, was 35, I think, today. And our vice chairperson, Jerry McDonald, his wee granddaughter, Sophie Hughes, up in Cashel Court in Ballyholland, was 7 at the weekend. I believe she got a great drive-by celebration for her birthday. One thing that I would like to address, we've had quite a lot of people contacting us about what can just be described as nuisance behaviour. In recent weeks, we've seen a large number of youth, young people, secondary school age, gathering around Clanry Avenue, Jennings Park, etc. Now, all these young lads are on bikes. So there seem to be two different groups. There seems to be a group, you know, from 10, 11 to 13, and then the 13, 14, 15-year-olds. Now, we understand in this current climate that it's really, really difficult for this age group to be adhering to social distancing and our restrictions about not going out, even although the restrictions have recently been lifted. So, you know, we empathise greatly with the parents of these young people. We were all young ourselves once. You think you're invincible and you can basically sort of maybe do what you want. But the issue of these young people is that they're just, some of them are causing a bit of a nuisance. They're driving very slowly in front of people who are driving on Clanry Avenue, and that some people feel slightly intimidated because there's such a vast number of them. Now, all that we're asking parents to do is maybe just to speak to their young people. We understand it's, you know, quite difficult to try to keep them in or whatever. We're not asking anyone to do that. But when it comes to disrespecting, you know, our residents and neighbours, that's not really acceptable. And someone's had eggs thrown at their car as well. So we would just urge parents to maybe have a chat with their young people and just to say to them, you know, right, if you're out with your friends, that's fair enough in current circumstances, but can you please, you know, behave and don't be annoying people, basically. So we would just ask if parents could maybe do that. That would be really, really appreciated. And we want to also send our good wishes. Oh, here, I see legs, bums and tums up there. We have Dominica and Alina, who are two fitness instructors, and they have their own Facebook page called Me Time. And if you go on there, the girls are offering free fitness classes, including Pilates. You can see there it's a Zoom call. You just put your the ID number in, and that's you connected. I actually did the Pilates session last week, and it was fantastic. It was really, really good. Really enjoyed it. The only thing is I could hardly walk for 2 days, but there you go. Maybe I need to do more of those. Yes, and we want to send our good wishes to Joan Quinn from the Clanry Fold, who is at this moment being looked after in Carlingford Lodge. And we send Joan all our good wishes from all her family and friends out in the Meadow. And we also want to recognise the staff in Carlingford Lodge and all other care facilities who are looking after our loved ones. Are doing an absolutely fantastic job at the moment. I'd also like to mention Michelle Griffin, who's originally from up around Carnegat, and herself and Jason McGivern and the two children were in an accident last week on Muiri bypass, and thankfully little Logan wasn't of a way to go yet, but we want you to know that we're all thinking of you. And there's actually a fundraiser going on at the moment on Facebook. The people from St. Peter's Primary School, some friends of Michelle's have started that. So if anybody can donate to that, that would be. We have Mickey Mallon, who is selling a DVD of Old Muiri. Which those DVDs are fantastic. Mickey does great work on the old pictures and photographs and DVDs. So he's selling those for £5, and the proceeds of those sales are going directly to the hospice. So if you can maybe nip over to that page, Mickey, get him on Facebook. And I can see my internet's buffering, so I hope I've been able to get everything across this week. So that's all from the Meadow and our road for now. Thank you.
Well, listen, Helena, thanks a million. Yes, you were buffering, but the whole secret is to keep going, because that's the whole secret. And again, we would endorse about the young people. You know, young people are great, but, you know, they need to just take a little step back. And of course, our thoughts were with the family that was injured last week. Very, very sad. And hopefully they'll all get better. And listen, thanks a million. And maybe next week you'll get a sort of an extra battery in the computer, and we'll be able to get a good internet connection next Monday night. So Helena, thanks a million. Much appreciated giving us some great updates.
I'll put 50p in the meter.
I'll maybe put £1 in the meter next week. So thanks a million, Helena. And now we're going to be heading over to Newtownhamilton to be talking to Barra Ó Muiri. Barra is a long-time activist in that area, and I'm only after hearing a little bit of breaking news. So Barra, I know you're a councillor, and I'm just saying that Terry Hardy is stepping down as a councillor after 20 years.
Yeah, that's right, Damian. And I suppose everyone is entitled to call the day after a long service. You know, Terry's been councillor for 20 years, as you say, and it's a long old spell tripping to meetings and keeping your head right and preparing yourself for a meeting and issuing statements. He was our agricultural spokesperson, among other roles, for 20 years, and I think there's not too many people in South Armagh wouldn't appreciate the work that Terry Hardy has done down through the years. So yeah, whilst we're all, you know, we can all appreciate that it's a good time for Terry maybe to stand aside. We're all certainly anticipating him being as much support to his replacement as possible, you know. And
any word who the replacement is yet, Barra? No.
Well, I think he announced it in his statement. Yeah, it's Aoife Finnegan from Crossmaglen, Aoife Comiskey, yeah.
Oh, we Aoife on last week?
Yeah, and should be on tomorrow, I think.
Right, very good. Well, listen, it's all up to you. Away you go. Tell us what's happening around your part of the world.
All right, Damian, and thanks a million to Destination Uri and Cahill in particular for this excellent opportunity. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for people from different areas just to spread the good news of what's going on in the areas. And again, you know, it's good to hear what's happening in the Meadow, and it's good to hear what's happening in Ballyholland. And likewise, hope people from those areas are keen to find out what's happening in Newtownhamilton and Cullyhanna, Dorsey, Silverbridge, and these rural areas that you mightn't hear too much about. So I'm going to start off with a person of the week. I don't think I'll be doing this every week, but it would maybe be remiss of me not to mention Pete High, who was put forward. Tried to put him forward last year for a civic award, and we missed out on it last year. So I put him forward this year again. And basically, I put Pete forward for his vision in setting up the Newtown Men's Shed, a fantastic initiative 12 months ago that aimed to provide men of a certain vintage with opportunities to get out and mix and get using their talents, and, you know, basically just go down to the shed and have a chat. Shedders, they call themselves. And my dad's part of this group, and, you know, he lost his wife, my mother, a few years ago, and really was at a loose end for something to do. And when you're thinking of people's mental health, there's nothing better they could really do than get out and about and go down to a men's shed, sit and have a cup of tea, have the crack with all their mates, and maybe put their hands to good use, plant a lot of flower boxes, make a couple of window boxes. They've got a polytunnel going in. So Pete High is this week's person of the week. Anyway, the Civic Awards would have taken place on the 27th, which is this Wednesday night. They were to be hosted by David Mead. Now, all that's going to be a virtual awards night this Wednesday night anyway. It's one of chairperson Charlie Casey's last events after an unforgettable year for him in the chair. So David Mead, the mentalist and keynote speaker, will certainly bring a bit of entertainment to it. So Pete would have been going along to this to be presented with his beautiful Tipperary crystal vase. Instead of that, the kind officer from the council drove out to Newtown the other day and hand delivered it to him. So fair play to everybody for that, and fair play to Pete. Keep up the good work, Pete. We'll move on quickly to food parcels. Like I said last week, Newtown Community Centre, Newtown Community Association, leading the way in South Armagh in terms of numbers of food boxes. That's being coordinated by Niall Murray, the secretary of the Community Association, and ably assisted by Ita, the chairperson, and Micheál and Katrina, who are certainly on hand, along with others. Different times, St Michael's are feeding in. Kiva Murray's been there as well, and it's definitely paying off, because you've got sort of three communities in Newtown, where you used to have two. You used to have a nationalist and a unionist community in Newtown down through all the years and down through all the history of the town. You've now got a nationalist and unionist community, and you've got a Bulgarian Roma community. So it's trying to cater for the needs of everybody, and some of them are living in extreme rural conditions, and some of them are living in extreme poverty. So it's fantastic, the work that's going on out of Newtown Community Centre, and I know that everybody in the community is eternally grateful for the good work that's going out of it. A big shout out to St Michael's GFC, of which I said last week I'm the chairman of, St Pat's in Cullyhanna, and Dorsey Emmett, for the fantastic community work that's going on with them. We all know the GAA clubs are all closed down, but the work hasn't stopped, and you've got committee members. I know in Cullyhanna club there's a quiz every week run out of the club. I can see Jim Sheridan shouting out questions every week. Dorsey Emmett's, they did their fantastic fundraiser. I know in St Michael's, Pete Carher in our club he gave his number out at the start and said he was a point of contact within the club for anyone who is feeling alone or isolated, and that's been continuing on throughout this COVID lockdown. Father Tremere and Jean Rush in Cullyhanna have been keeping me informed of anyone with any need in Cullyhanna, Dorsey area. Yvonne Moley as well in Cullyhanna has been playing a blinder. She's been sort of, I don't know if she's the PRO for Dorsey Emmett's or what her official role is, but she's in contact with me most days, let me know what's going on in the Dorsey area, keeping me informed of who's in need, of who's contacting her in looking for food parcels. She contacts me and we try and get them sorted through the community associations. It's fantastic work. Likewise, Mags Reel in Silver Bridge. She's I'm married into the Reel family. It's not the first time I'm going to mention the Reel family tonight, and everyone's going to say it's a bit of nepotism because I'm married into them, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles this week. Mags is playing a blinder with regards to food parcels as well. She knows all the old and infirm and vulnerable people around Daly Park and like Moylan Road and all the roads in and around Silver Bridge, and she's tenting them one way or the other. She's delivering food packages out for Finnegan's. She's delivering food packages out for the Department of Communities. She's helping the community associations. She's in helping us in the Sinn Féin office in Cross. It's she's an absolute credit. So I heard Damian saying there, and I was going to make a point of the 8th of June could be a potentially significant date for GAA members, in that it won't see the reopening of pitches, but it may see the reopening of walking tracks. And I know that Gaels in Dorsey, in Newtown, in Cullyhanna, and to a far greater extent in Silver Bridge, utilise their walking tracks like no other. You seldom drive past Silver Bridge walking track that there's not a few people out walking around it. So keep an eye out for the 8th of June to see what the crack is with the reopening of the walking tracks. The Neeskull in Creggan has one space left. So if anyone out there is watching this here, back even tonight, and your child has no preschool place for next year, give me a shout. I sit on the board of Neeskull and Creggan, and we're actively seeking one more child. We have one Peg's place left. So if you're stuck, give us a shout and we'll get your child sorted out for next year. I mentioned last week about the fantastic mass. You know, it's a real Irish thing to get an opportunity to talk about what's going on in your area, on Destination Area, and you talk about the fantastic mass that's been said. But you know, anyone who knows Father Tremere will know the fantastic effort he goes to try and recreate his special mass when he's in a chapel all on his own, and he's still trying to be himself and that there. So I phoned him during the week and told him that I'd given him a shout out. And I said to Cahill maybe to share the link for Mass. And I see the link going below it. Look at the link for Mass is www.mcnmedia.tv. So, you know, it's worth checking out. So you go into that and you click into your county and your diocese and your parish, and you can find St. Patrick's Cullyhanna, and he's on at 11:30 on a Sunday anyway. There you go. There's the list of all the masses. Well done, Cahill. This is excellent stuff. We're going to move on swiftly to road bowls. And I mentioned to Cahill, you know, we talked about something that makes each area unique. We don't want to be talking about the same thing every week. So I want to just speak briefly about road bowls. And road bowls, a sport that is traced back to the 1700s, but certainly in the 1800s and the late 1800s with the cultural revival. The road bowls was very much seen as one of the national sports of Ireland. We'll just watch this here. There's an example of road bowls. On ya by ya. All right, Cahill. So you can see from the footage, that's very much what road bowls is. Road bowls, you have a starting line and you have a finishing line about 1.5 miles out the road, and you throw the bowl, and the person who gets the finish line in the least number of throws is the winner. So there's great crack about this here. It's a sport dipped in a lot of culture and history and that. As I say, it was intended to be one of the national sports in the 1880s. As the GAA and hurling and camogie and rounders and handball sort of grew, road bowls sort of slid a wee bit, and now it's only really played. I know there's other counties that like to keep it up, but it's concentrated mostly in Cork and Armagh at the minute. So I know the vibrant clubs that are in those county are very, very passionate about it. I'm a member of Bowl Common Ardwaha and the Road Bowl Club in Newtown. We actually, this year, Newtown, ironically, was awarded the All-Ireland Road Bowls, intermediate road bowls for this year and senior for next year. Now, we're facing an uncertain future this summer as to what it's going to entail, but we certainly hope to get to host the All-Ireland finals for the next 2 years, this year, next year, whenever they may be played. And this is an excellent platform to welcome people to come along and view the road bowls and join the Road Bowls Club and be part of the only Road Bowls Club in Muiri, Mourne and Down. It's quite something. There's lots in County Armagh, but Newtown is the only part of the district of Newry, Mourne and Down where road bowls is played. I stand to be corrected, but it's certainly the only constituted club in the district. So I know that Chairperson Kieran Savage and Secretary Jimmy Swing McDonald are mad keen to get the Road Bowls Club back up and running again. And if golf and tennis are able to be played, if we get it right and we keep the numbers down and we socially distance, it's not a contact sport. So it's probably something that we can get up and running in the coming weeks. So we'll keep an eye on that. A bit of bad news, that an arson attack in Cullyhanna on the Scariff Road during the week, at the early part of the week, which I had a statement out strongly condemning. It caused alarm and it caused annoyance in a very rural community of Cullyhanna, and it's just ridiculous. The fire service in Newtown are to be commended for their swift response in dealing with it. And certainly, speaking on behalf of the entire community of Cullyhanna, we don't want to see that type of incident in Cullyhanna or in any of our communities in South Armagh. And that's enough on that. One of the previous speakers had talked about the curse of litter, and this Saturday, the Sinn Féin Council Group have organised in Slieve-Gullion a community litter pick, and the emphasis on this is going to be social distancing, of course. The idea is to organise family groups to go to their nearest road and to coordinate it all with their neighbours and that, and to take a bag with them and to pick up as much litter as they can in 1 hour. So we haven't worked out the times yet, but if we start at 2 o'clock, we'd like to have the whole thing finished at 3. There's going to be a couple of aims to this. Obviously, we're going to try and make our area a lot more beautiful, clean up the litter that people are casting out the windows of their car, which is absolutely disgraceful. So we're trying to make the area more beautiful. B, we're trying to show communities that there is a lockdown. Everybody's staying indoors, but there's still, if you do things right, you can still take care of your area. And say that the third one, that your elected representatives are still here to work with the communities. We haven't gone away, and we intend to get out and about on Saturday to ensure social distancing, but ensure that community works together to tidy up the area. So that's on Saturday. You can look out on my social media and on the social media of other councillors for that there. The next item, quickly, before I wrap up, is birthdays. I forgot to do the birthdays last week, and so some of them are looking ahead and some of them are slightly reflective. And this is where I come back to the real family, okay? So very quickly, we have an 88th birthday on the 31st of May, and that's the Mary Carraher, a good friend of my own, and wishing her a happiest of birthdays on the very end of the month. The same day as another very good friend of mine, Aisling Gribben. She's not going to be 88 on that day, but her birthday is also on the 31st of May. So very happy birthday to those two Cullyhanna ladies. We're moving up to Silver Bridge, and we have a whole raft of birthdays, 3 of which are from the same family. So first of all, we'll go to Annie McShane down in Daly Park, and she turned 91 last week. 91. And we had a drive-by birthday celebration all around Daly Park, where lots of friends and relatives and relations and well-wishers drove round the park and beeping their horns, and children waving out the windows and everything. It was lovely altogether, so it was. So fair play to Annie, who's 91. Kay Merkin, Annie's next door neighbour, was 70 last weekend. Fantastic. And her son Rory had been in touch with me, saying how happy she was with her neighbours and all for the celebrations and the social distance, and happy birthday that it was. And then to the Reel family, anyone who's involved in any community work in South Armagh will know Sabina Reel. So Sabina Reel's been about forever, and she's 91 a couple of weeks ago. And Mags had asked me to give a shout to her aunt, Sabina Reel, who turned 91. So I visited Sabina shortly after her birthday to wish her well, and she's a whole good one at 91 years of age. And then 2 brothers. So my wife's uncle, Owen Reel, was 70 the other day. He had a big drive-by birthday as well, and congratulations to him. And Bernard Reel from Bernard Reel Motors down at Carnally, his birthday today. So I'll not say what age Bernard is, but congratulations, Bernard. And that brings me to all the birthdays that I've been passed on, and all the news from Newtown, Cullyhanna, Dorsey and Silverbridge. And Damian, the last word is to everybody, stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next week.
Barra, thanks a million for that. No question about it. We did get Owen Reel's announcement last week that he was 70 as well. And I just after getting a little text there, I say hello to Mrs. McCann from the Green Road. Kevin, we walked down in St. Paul's there, and Kevin had the opportunity to get talking to his mum the day after so long. So glad that happened. And before we finish, I would like to thank Rosie and Helena and Barra for giving us a brilliant update of what's happening around the communities around South Armagh, and Muiri as well. And then tomorrow we'll do it all again. But before I finish, I would like just to congratulate 2 of our frontline workers, John McAteer and Aileen McAteer. They're married a year. Just funny enough, the time flies. And both of them, John works in Daisy Hill, and Aileen, she's an occupational therapist. So there they are. That's on their wedding day last year. So on behalf of everybody here on Destination Muiri and everybody in the Camla area, a big congratulations to John and Aileen for a year married and frontline workers out working and helping and keeping us all safe and sound. So congratulations, and many, many happy anniversaries to come. And I think that'll do us this evening. So thanks to everybody this evening for tuning in. Thanks to Cathal, and we'll do this all again tomorrow evening.